Hey everybody, I'm OSnapKlein, and I'm here to give you a basics and fundamental guide on Kirby for Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you enjoyed this video, definitely click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. What are fundamentals? They are essentially the mentality or the mindset that you need to carry while playing fighting games or a specific character. So what is Kirby as a character? Well, Kirby is essentially a combo-intensive character who requires strong set play and edge guarding in order to be effective. Let's get into some pros and cons of this character, starting with the pros. Kirby has very evasive, just because he's small, he tends to whiff a lot of moves, so he can be pretty evasive at times, especially just the mere act of holding down and letting him pancake to the ground is actually one of his strongest tools. You would not believe how many times I was able to avoid losing a stock just for this simple act of holding down. He has really strong combo game, like I said. He's able to rack up a lot of damage if he gets a hold of you. He has multiple jumps, so he's able to stall things out in the air. He also makes it much easier for him to edge guard off the stage and then still make it back. His moveset is pretty simplistic, so he's pretty easy to get into as a character. He has a very low skill floor, and he has I wouldn't say a too high, but a pretty nice skill ceiling as well. He has a bit of utility with his copy ability. As you can see, he has no end of combinations and stuff that he can do with his base moveset and abilities that he can steal from and copy from the enemies that he inhales. His smash attacks, while not the greatest in the game, are at least somewhat consistent. As you can see, his forward smash has some pretty good distance to it. His down smash has some really nice knockback, and it's really good at catching rolls. Up smash has nice arc and covers a lot of distance compared to his body size. His recovery is actually pretty good. It has a lot of vertical distance, so as you can see how low I can go before I can up B. I probably can go lower than that. Yep. On top of him having multiple jumps. And overall, he's just one of the cutest darn things you'll ever see. So getting into the cons of Kirby, and I know it's typical of FGC players to lobby more complaints than compliments to their characters, and I got quite a bit of them for Kirby. While Kirby is not a terrible character, I find him to be a solid mid-tier at best. He's got some things, you know, not really going his way. First of all, he's very light. He's easy to kill if you're not careful and paying attention. Oh, at times he can have an overall pretty rough time kind of getting in on his opponent. I'm not going to say that he can be completely walled out in some of the moves that he does have. There's actually a lot of recovery from that, and it can get you in a lot of trouble or pretty much just lose a stock if you're not careful with it. So inhale is pretty bad. It doesn't really do a good job of getting projectiles out of the way, or even healing for that matter of fact. It doesn't even heal that much. So yeah, Kirby can have a hard time approaching. He's also not the fastest character. I mean, he has decent ground speed, with his body size being small and able to whiff things, like, as you can see. I like to do this a lot. I'm trying to do this with two hands. I hate it. The second he gets in the air, where he, in my opinion, I find him to be the strongest because of things like forward air, back air being one of his best kill moves. Up air is really nice to fast fall with. He doesn't have great horizontal movement speed because he kind of puffs up and kind of loses momentum, like, in between his jumps. He has decent vertical speed in the air, but most of the time I stay on the ground if I want to stay mobile and approach my enemy, or distance, or just proper spacing and playing the neutral. As a basic character, he tends to be pretty predictable as well. Once people kind of wise up to his combo patterns and learn proper DI and stuff, you're going to be having a harder time racking up damage and kind of just keeping pressure on your opponent. Let's go over the moveset of Kirby, starting with his jab, then going into tilts, and then smash attacks, and then his specials. All right, so jabs, or rather Kirby's jab. And I apologize in advance, I don't have all the frame data on every move, or most of the moves, because Nintendo is not very forthcoming with a lot of that information, and Kurigami Hammer only can work so hard. So I can only commentate on what I find is effective and how I use the abilities and the best ways to use them and in what situations. So Kirby's jab is a follow-up tool for something like neutral air, forward air if you can get it. Kind of like Greninja and how he has basically no end lag after his neutral air, and then he just follow-ups. It also is amazing since like you can just hold on the jab button. It really, this right here is very good for checking if your opponent is paying attention. Much like Captain Falcon, you just holding this when they tried to do like a bad get up recovery. So yeah, they try to do a bad recovery from ledge. You can catch it with, like, if they get neutral get up. If they don't tech properly, it can be a missed tech punish. You know, canceling your dashes with it to kind of just check. You know, it's like, are they really just, are they dash dancing? Are they foxtrotting around? Or are they just, you know, are they actually just screwing around? You know, are they just making it look like they're mobile? You know, it's just, I'm doing this. I'm you know, like, okay, you just get jabbed in the middle of neutral. Good job, dummy. His up tilt is really good tool for juggling and building damage and follow-ups and stuff like that. You can get a lot of stuff. You can even get a neutral air off of it. All kinds of stuff. Of course, most of these aren't even true, but, you know, just to kind of give you an example, the best way to utilize just plain up tilt in the middle of neutral, because he's just like Fox and to some degree. I would say his up tilt is actually a little better than Fox because it's a lot bigger compared to his body size. You see a lot of Foxes rotate and pivot their up tilts. And the reason why you do that, if you kind of see the trajectory where it pushes them, so you can kind of get them in this trap by rotating. And what I like to do is I like to hold up on the analog stick and slide it slightly to the right or left. So you get like an up tilt, and then you can turn around, and then up tilt, and then turn around, so that you basically trap them into the. So it works best when they're right above you. You can also get up smashes. If your opponent is not really paying attention, you can get jabs out of it, all kinds of stuff. So I highly recommend experimenting. Forward tilt it's pretty much it has really fast startup, barely any end lag, if not at all. It is your #1 poke and get off me tool. Basically you just throw this out to try and make landings safe, or if they get behind you real quick, you just immediately side tilt to the behind you, or like I said, it's not a kill move really to any degree. Down tilt is what makes Kirby in this game. It is a B&B move for him and his bread and butter. The reason why is because he can just in Ultimate, I feel like they increased the range, so it actually has some deceptively long range to it. Again, compared to his body size, he gets a pretty good chance to trip his opponent, and he can get a lot of follow-ups after that trip. So it's RNG, of course, but when you do get a trip, you can basically get a free grab, free forward smash. Doesn't want to do it. You can get all sorts of things from it. One of the best pieces of advice I could give you for down tilt as well is to kind of take your time with it. If you do manage to get multiple down tilts off, to pay attention and look out for, don't immediately, down tilt and then just immediately go for a grab, assuming that you're going to get the trip every time, because that's actually unsafe and they can get away from that. Also, at higher percents, keep in mind that your trips no longer work. the down tilt actually starts causing them to slide away rather than giving you a chance at tripping them, because it kind of at a very, very, very small angle, it props them up and causes them to slide away rather than getting a trip. But it also still introduces scenarios where they slide away and you can still chase with a dash attack, but it's not true. So, like I was saying before, down tilt is pretty much what defines Kirby, what makes Kirby Kirby, because it is also an amazing tool for punishing missed techs and fall down to get forced get up states, which is really nice because you can get guaranteed forward smashes or tech read situations where you can get tech reads and all kinds of stuff. So if I'm to get Richter here, yeah, you can get usually 2. I usually just do 1 to be safe, but it's purely up to you. Dash attack, pretty good. It's got some pretty decent knockback. I want to say it kills, if I can remember correctly, 120%? Oh yeah, it does. But that's with without DI. There we go. You want to hit them at the very start of dash attack in order to, you know, get more knockback, more damage. The more it falls off, the less damage it does, as you can see. An example of the pass-through. So you want to do it real close in order to get the pass-through on shield. Neutral air. His neutral air is actually pretty good now. It has barely any end lag. Like I was saying earlier, you can follow up with things on it if you fast fall, cancel it into other things like jab, down tilt. Down tilt usually is what I like to go for. Of course, it falls off. It's weaker near the end of the hit frames, but it's really strong at the start. Boom, 12%. That's a lot for neutral. That's a lot for a move like that. Forward air is it can be both a combo starter for more follow up with more forward airs. You want to kind of space with it too as well, but when you space, you want to fall back. Oops, not back air. You want to kind of fall back with it like that to make it safe on landing, if you do plan on landing with it. And of course, it being a multi-hit move can really throw your opponents off as well. Kirby's back air is bread and butter, B&B. It has some of the best kill power out of his entire toolkit. It is usually the #1 thing you fish for in order to seal stocks. So if you land with it, you're going to be eating a little bit of recovery. Usually if you got some height in the air, you can keep spamming it like that. Down air is one of your combo starting tools and is really good at punishing poor approaches or from the ground. If you can just short hop over like a dash attack or something that they try to approach with. And the thing is down air, you want to cancel it with like fast fall, but you want to get some of the hits out. You basically want to fall with it to the ground or hit the ground before the last hit on it comes out, or it'll send them off to the side. You gotta watch the DI, or where they, essentially which side of Kirby they land. The rule of thumb I usually say is if they end up behind Kirby, you want to follow up not with an up tilt, like that. If they land in front of Kirby, I typically go for down tilts in hopes of getting a trip into forward throw, and then, you know, Kirby's grabs. At low percents, the #1 grab that you're going to be going for is forward throw, because you can follow up with forward air and hopefully get a follow-up or a chase situation where you can either get a dash attack afterwards or another grab. Because as you can see, it brings them downwards and then takes them from stage. You can get all kinds of stuff at low percents with down throw. At medium percents, from I'm going to say like 40 and above, they start getting to the point where the knockback allows them to either jump out of it, your forward throw, or just, you know, fall farther away from it. At that point, you have to read which, you know, what defensive option or avoidant, you know, which way they're going to avoid you after a forward throw, and then follow up with, you know, just react to it. Are you gonna forward throw, short hop, forward air? Like, are they gonna go up? Are they gonna jump up out of it? Are they gonna fall back and down to where you can hit the ground real fast and then dash attack, up throw? High percents kills, so platform stages like Battlefield and up throw go hand in hand. So back throw, mostly a positioning tool because it only kills at much high, like way high percents. Like I want to say 160 above, depending on the weight class of the character as well. Usually I just use it to set him off stage depending on which direction I'm facing. So Kirby's smash attacks, if not a bit simplistic, are actually very consistent. You have his forward smash, which actually has a good bit of range. Really good kill power if you're able to get it off. It is a bit predictable. All his smashes are kind of predictable if you don't get them out of a combo or, you know, some sort of setup. Here's a little hidden tip from me to you. If you actually cancel your first hit on your forward air with a fast fall, you're able to get a forward smash out on characters and hopefully seal stocks early on the side of the stage. Like that. I don't think that was true at the point. So it really requires a lot of practice and timing and muscle memory. Up smash, again, just like his up tilt, has a very large arc. Covers a nice, good bit of distance. Again, you can combo into it with like up tilt at certain percents and stuff. Down smash, with down smash being one of his best, in my opinion, just because of not the distance it covers, not the, you know, frame data, how fast it comes out, but just at the angle that it tends to launch people. It can, like you notice the red line, it can either launch them straight down, depending on how they're holding their DI, or just straight outwards at just the right horizontal angle. So getting into Kirby's specials, starting with his neutral special, Inhale. This move is, it's interesting. Like, he gets a lot off of it if he is fighting a character that has a really good neutral beat, like say Richter here, who has the axe, which can kill really good if you get hit by it or caught out in the air. You cannot shield Inhale, so to some degree it's like a command grab in a way. So the best way to use Inhale when your opponent doesn't tech properly, if they like neutral get up or attack get up, you just shield the attack get up and then just Inhale afterwards. Sorry, I'm doing two controllers right now, so. Or the same thing on the ledge. If they try to attack getting up on ledge and you just shield it and Inhale afterwards, boom, you have their ability. But the number one way that I usually get the Inhale is I actually jump on them and land with it. See, they're thinking that I'm going to land on them with an aerial attack, but I'm actually going to land on with them. Excuse me. I'm going to land on them with an Inhale that is going to go right through their shield and just scoop them up, and boom, I either have the copy ability, or if you press A, you can shoot them out, which is actually really useful to have, especially if you're sending them off stage, because that could set up for situations for edge guarding. So you really, whatever percent the enemy is at, or whatever situation where you're placed on the stage, it is important to distinguish, will I get more reward for taking his ability, or will I get more reward for spitting him out and then following up with some sort of edge guard? Also, another good thing that you can do with Inhale, it also, if not a bit risky, is really good for edge guarding. You can drop down, inhale the person, and spit them back out. There has been some weird situations where if I inhale, knock them off the stage, and then B reverse the inhale, and then spit them towards the stage, they actually bounce off to the stage, end up dying pretty early. And then there's been some weird times where they just stay as a star and they keep sliding against the stage. It really depends on the stage, but there's some weird properties there that you can test with. Though inhale off stage is not his best punish, I definitely would recommend doing it if you're feeling a bit spicy and you're wanting to get inside your opponent's head, because the mentality that you want behind Kirby is just you honestly just play him dirty. His side B, his hammer, is kind of interesting. It is also a very risky move. If you just use it uncharged on the ground, he does one strike. If you do fire, Still one strike, way more damage. This, by the way, this move has a immense amount of kill power. There's basically 3 stages to it. With the 3rd stage here, where he charges up and holds it back and he starts taking damage, it actually has a different hitbox. Because as you know, if I do it in the air, I get 2 swings there. But if I jump with it on the 3rd stage, it ends up giving me the 1 strike, little arc strike there that it has. Definitely don't use this unless you know you can pull it off, or you're feeling sassy and you're ahead in stocks or percentage, where you feel comfortable enough using this move. You can only change direction with it when you're on the ground, so when you jump in the air, you can't change your facing direction. So, and your momentum is actually a bit different when you're using the hammer in the air as well. Definitely great move for punishing rolls on the stage from ledge. So, like, say he rolls the other way, I can just turn around and hit him. Honestly, I like to use it as a kind of mix-up tool in shield pressure. Well, shield damage and shield pressure. Oh my god, hammer does a ton of damage on shield. It's ridiculous. But what I like to usually do is do a full hop, a single full hop, but I slide my finger across the jump button and the inside B at the same time so that I can charge up the hammer before I reach the peak of my full hop, and so that I can get both swings out of the hammer to mix up my opponent, kind of like this, so that I can make sure that I get both swings out before I land. Whoops, not that. So like that is really nice to use, especially when they're above the 100% mark and they're near the side of the stage. Oh god, the hammer's gonna kill way early. Down B, which turns him into his rock form. Very risky move, very niche move. You notice that Kirby has a lot of niche moves. You can do it on the ground. It has less startup frames on the ground and kind of has like a get off me kind of knockback move to it. Really easy to predict, really easy to shield. Like, I mean, a normal person's gonna react to it, whether it's in the air or on the ground. If you do it in the air, it's got a bit more startup. I mean, there's just, the thing is that there's so many weaknesses. It is a really good kill move, but you can get grabbed out of it if you stay in it for too long and they're charging up a really strong smash attack. When it hits a certain damage threshold, it'll actually knock you out of your rock form. Also, when you're releasing out of rock form, there's that short hop up that Kirby does that leaves you open and susceptible to attack. So you're caught in a situation where you either attack or air dodge when you release out of it. I haven't so far found any situation or setup where I need to just do rock form or anything on the ground and get anything really out of it, because honestly I just have side tilt, which fulfills that purpose more than anything, because it's a better get off me tool with way safer. Also, I'd like to mention that down B is, although I have my issues with down B, it does have really good kill power. It's actually pretty good to use off the side of the stage when enemies have very predictable recoveries, or typically your opponent gets in the habit of recovering low. You want to down B off the side of the stage. Just be very careful with it, because if you're down here and they're back on stage ready to drop down and punish you, you're gonna eat dirt. You're gonna be biting the bullet on that one. So keep in mind that you want to cancel down B with just pressing neutral B. That's all you got to do. You can't jump out of it. You can't, press an attack or anything like that, or air dodge. You have to press B to get out of it early. So up B, the wind cutter is a really good tool for recovery. It has a really good distance on recovery, like I showed you before. Be very careful which direction you're facing when you use this thing, or else you're not going to grab ledge. So if you're not familiar with it, I would definitely practice pivoting this thing, facing the other direction, so that you always clamp onto ledge. That's very important. You can, like, they buffed Wind Cutter a ton. I think it's called Wind Cutter. Is it called Wind Cutter? I don't know. We'll just call it Wind Cutter. They increased the size of the sword a lot from previous versions of Smash. It has better scoop and spike abilities compared to Smash 4. in my opinion. If it doesn't hit them with the projectile part, it just sends them straight down. If you're able to space it correctly. There's been times when I've tried to recover with this thing, and then I just go with another up B, and then grab the ledge again, and it just spikes them straight down. It's really good for scooping people up off of platforms if you're on a stage like Battlefield, or if you're both meeting in the air and you needed a disjointed attack to catch somebody out of the air. Up B is really good. I highly recommend not spamming up B or becoming overly reliant on it, and especially becoming over reliant on it as a mix-up tool to get up from ledge, because after a while your opponent is going to start adapting to what you're doing. They're going to start figuring it out, and they're going to start countering it, and you're going to die for it. And about covers it for Kirby's moveset. He's a very simplistic character. As for the mindset, the fundamentals that you need to keep with Kirby, I'm gonna be straight with you. Kirby doesn't have a lot in terms of range and just these unga bunga moves like Wolf's up tilt, just up and killing you. A bit of his stuff takes setup or edge guarding, or situations where he's all about punishes. Like he's gonna eat you alive, no pun intended, if you end up missing that tech, or you decide to make poor decision recovering back to ledge. He's going to take advantage of that. So he's kind of a scumbag character with his inhale and his copy ability. The thing is with Kirby, he's going to play as cheap as possible to get any kind of advantage that he can get. He's going to constantly be hitting you with multi-hit moves. He's going to be grabbing you. He's going to be comboing you. And all he wants at the end of the day is to get you off stage so that he can gimp you as soon as possible. So, with that being said, you want to be very methodical with how you approach your opponents. You want to be very careful and patient. Patient being the key word here, because one mistake is going to cost you a stock on Kirby, and real quick, since he is very light. So, with that being said, let's get into some matches of me playing Kirby in quick play, 3 stocks, 7 minutes. Keep in mind, this is just the basics and fundamentals of the character. By no way is this a advanced guide to show you every little bit. This is just a guide to get you started. If you have any advice or tips or tricks or just fun information or competitive advice for this character, definitely share it in the comments below. So let's go ahead and flip over to those matches.